Hey everybody, welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. As I said in a previous video, I think it was my Tarantino video, I'm going to try to do more topic videos in the future, but, as I said in that video, we got a lot of movies that are coming out, and a lot of movies that I'm fairly interested in, and this one was definitely one of them. She Said, which was directed by Maria Shander. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce her last name. Which tells the story of the journalist who went to uncover the horrors and the monster that was Harvey Weinstein. And the film presents a series of both depictions of victims and simultaneously showing the efforts that the journalist took to trying to put that story out. Now, I think that you can tell by just I think you can just tell based on my own reaction right now how I feel about it, because I feel a bit uncomfortable talking about it, and not because of the subject matter, and it's not it's not in a way that gives the film benefit. It actually takes away from it. I had suspicions about it after I saw the trailer, which I felt was kind of being very how should I say it? It felt like the characters were talking to me and not necessarily to each other, and felt that was a bit of an issue. And the nature of just how that trailer was presented, I felt was also a bit questionable. And unfortunately, that type of atmosphere that I was feeling and I was kind of getting suggestions of is what I get in this. And what I get is a huge sense of exploitation, and not a lot of exploration, which I feel is what the film should have been. For it just does a pattern. We go from the journalism to talking to a victim, to the journalism to talking to a victim, to a journalism talking to a victim. And once you pick up on that, I'll tell you what, the first 5 minutes, I immediately just told myself that I'm not liking this at all. Because what I got right at the beginning was this very typical thriller-like setup where, there's these, they're also giving some type of heroism to these two journalists, right off the bat, giving this big idea that oh, these are our heroes of the story, versus having a little bit more gray and presented into it, which I feel that for a story like this, I feel that there's a lot of room for grayness to be represented, and the film is actually, excuse me, actually a lot more black and white, which I feel is a bit inappropriate for what kind of story we're talking about. And it's, obviously the conclusions to said story are obviously black and white. I mean, we obviously know how Harvey Weinstein was. He was a monster. But I feel that the film takes at many points a very ignorant stance on such things. There's a point where where someone brings up something about Harvey being very physical towards a particular male, and the film decides to just gloss completely over that in favor of talking about a female sexual assault story, which obviously when you compare the two, obviously the story that the women tell are far more harmful and far more interesting than the males. But I feel that it's noteworthy to bring up also other sides of Harvey Weinstein that I feel that we don't usually address. And I'm just saying this as to giving the film more color, I guess, because what the film feels like is very typical and very standard. And also, and this is the gross part about the film, in my opinion, is that the film feels like a Hollywood production, and that to me is what is extremely gross about it. because of what the story is about. It's about the Hollywood system. It's about the a lot of the for lack of a better word, shittiness that happened. Um, and for a film to just feel so glamorous and so dramatized, it just feels inappropriate. And I felt really turned off by it, by the opening minutes. And I had a feeling that it was going to be that way, and I just was hoping that it wouldn't be that way. I hoped that it would be something more in the lines of like Spotlight, where they take things a lot more sincerely, and they do. The subject is taken seriously, but it's not to a degree where it feels weightful. It just feels like they're playing around with these stories, and not necessarily, and using them, and again, in a very exploitive nature, versus doing something that makes them feel extremely weightful. A lot of these scenes that happen with when the victims tell their stories, I wanted to feel a lot more connected to those stories and feel a lot more, involved. But I just didn't. I was feeling rather bored because the film didn't want to be. It didn't want to dive into more sincerity. It just wanted to stay in this very glamorized state, in a very Hollywood-esque type, and I just feel that was just extremely inappropriate, especially with what the story is about. It's what you would expect from Hollywood addressing this kind of story. It's a Hollywood production, and I just feel for what the movie is about, I feel that it just comes off incredibly inappropriate, and I just felt really uncomfortable with that tone and just that nature and just the way that they approached the whole idea. It just felt very, very inappropriate, and I just didn't I just started tuning it out because I just it just I should have expected it, and I kind of was, but I was hoping that it would be a little bit more sincere. But it's glamorized, it's dramatized to hell, and also it really affects a lot of stuff. Like, the screenplay is just downright bad. It's not a good script. It's very, very wooden, and it's very, again, acting on a very exploitive type nature, where it's just having to forcefully express things to the viewer rather than exploring this situation. And again, I just don't appreciate that type of storytelling. I don't like when a movie forces me to think of certain things. I want to be able to have that kind of room, and allow, within that, the story to breathe and just be able to move in certain directions. I also think that the characters themselves are just non-existent. They're not even characters. They're just actors, and they're just saying things. They're not characters. They give like little stuff here or there, oh, she has a baby, oh, she has depression, but they don't add up to anything. In some respects, it actually brings up some level of hypocrisy to these characters. You're asking yourself, okay, well, if a lady has this severe level of depression, why would she then take on a story like this? And also other things surrounding it. Like, it's what you would expect from Hollywood, and it's just very disappointing in that regard. I can't say it's bad. I think that it had well intention. I think that it was well intentioned. I don't think that it was. I don't think that they were. I don't think that they meant any harm, but I feel that the film just doesn't come across as anything real genuine. It feels built, and that to me is the problem with something like this. Is that it shouldn't feel built. It should feel natural. It should feel authentic, and it just doesn't. It feels like any typical thriller or any typical story. Like, the word Hallmark came to my head at one point, and I know that's pretty insulting, but I can't help it. That's just how it felt like at some points, and the performances kind of felt that way at some points too. Again, with this very exploitive type, where it's just that they're talking to you, not necessarily to each other, and they're again, they're not really working with much from the script. I mean, they're trying. I think that Zoe Kazan, I think that's her last name. I think she puts in fairly decent work. But again, her script is not giving her much. So again, I think it had good intentions, but it's what you would expect from Hollywood telling a story about Hollywood. It just feels very glamorized. It feels very inauthentic, and it just feels inappropriate. I really feel that a sense of real sincerity is missing from this, and a real sense of humanity also, like it just, I hate how dramatized this was. I feel that it was just very inappropriate. And also, I asked myself, what is like I asked what the like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't know if it's good timing or if it's just, like with Harvey Weinstein's trial happening right now, I'm curious as to why this film would be released, at this particular time. I just find it very interesting, but it's a very frustrating piece because it has all, like, the story itself is incredibly interesting, and I feel that there's so much opportunity to talk about so many things, like the morality of being a journalist, and obviously addressing the Harvey Weinstein and the monster that he was, and also addressing other avenues, like maybe how Harvey was also harmful towards other people, not just women, but just men as well, because believe it or not, men also get hurt as well. And men have been also hurt by Harvey Weinstein as well. I felt that the film had a huge opportunity to address many things, but it chooses to solidify itself in one particular place, which is completely fine. But I feel that there needed to be less of a glamour and more of a groundedness to the piece. The music, I'll put it this way, the music is what killed it for me. The amount of times that the music played is what really killed it for me. Every time, like these like huge like orchestras and all this other crap, like it put the film in a certain kind of mindset, and it just was, again, highly inappropriate for me. So it's a very exploitive, very glamorized, and very questionable in terms of I really wish that it was portrayed differently. I really wish that they portrayed events differently, because it just feels really uncomfortable. While watching it, it just felt very uncomfortable for me. Had good intentions, but I just feel that the results are very questionable at best. So, yeah. So, it's just weirdly, really. I guess the word for it is expecting, because, I mean, it's a Hollywood film. That's what She Said at its core acts like. It acts like a typical Hollywood film. And in what the movie is about, that is the biggest problem with the film. So that's my thoughts on She Said. Yeah, just, I didn't really like it, as you can tell from this review. You guys let me know your thoughts on She Said. Did you guys like it? Did you guys not really like it as much as I did? What are your guys' thoughts on it? Let me know in the comment section below. And just so I don't get any of the types of comments, Harvey Weinstein was a monster. Okay? I've said it many times in the review, Harvey Weinstein is a monster, so don't come at me with those comments. I know some of you will take this review and, hear it in a certain way. Harvey Weinstein is a monster. Okay? Good? Good, because we're on the same page on that. So, but I just felt the movie just could have been better in many ways. But that's my thoughts on She Said. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that is it for this review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Obviously, be safe, wear your mask, and all that kind of stuff. And until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.